Hello. Today I want to talk about the big elephant in the room. So what is this big elephant? The big elephant in the room in any relationship is our fear of not being able to articulate and speak about our emotions and feelings. Now, not only is it true that we are afraid to speak of our emotions and feelings, but it's also true that we are afraid to receive another person's emotions and feelings. And so when two people function in this way in a relationship, what we have is a situationship instead of an actual relationship. Both parties are not willing to engage in their personal, emotional, and feeling world, and neither party is also willing to engage in the other person's emotional and feeling world. So over time, what tends to happen is a disconnect occurs between our partner and us, and even worse, within ourselves. We lose a sense of self in the relationship, and we begin to doubt whether the relationship is right for us. Does this sound familiar to you? So this is the big elephant in the room in most relationships that are either falling flat or fading. So how do we actually manage this situation? Well, I'm a firm believer that you cannot address something unless you go right to the root of where the disconnect happened. This type of disconnect usually occurs in childhood when we are with our caregivers and wanting to experience a sense of validation for our feelings and emotions, and we don't get that validation. Then what happens is we actually make it about us, and we say, there's something wrong with me, and therefore I should not feel this way. So we invalidate ourselves, and we end up disowning a part of us which actually wants to express its emotions and feelings. Now, it's really important for us to connect with our emotions and feelings. Why? Because it is the gateway to our connection with ourselves. So the thoughts are the surface level reactions that we have to our feelings and emotions. The feelings and emotions are our responses or reactions to external stimuli that we receive through our nervous system from the external world, and we connect that into our brain and interpret it in the form of signals in our body. Now, when this occurs, when we were children, we expressed our emotions and our feelings, and it's likely that our parents did not receive that. They did not help us to feel understood in that moment, to feel seen in that moment. And they also may not have validated our feelings and emotions. Now, this does not mean that they agreed with our feelings and emotions and allowed us to bypass everyone else's feelings and emotions in favor of our own. What it means is that they actually gave us empathy and listened to us and allowed us to feel heard in the situation, and then also helped us to process our emotions in a way that we felt understood. Now, when this doesn't happen over a period of time, we actually begin to think that there's something wrong with us expressing our feelings and emotions, and we shut that part of us down within ourselves. And now, with these walls built, we go into a relationship where we are either overly anxious in the relationship because we are unable to express our feelings, but we feel them within, or we've actually cut off all of the feelings and emotions. We don't even get into our emotional and feeling body in order to feel what we feel. So you may be familiar with the anxious and the avoidant patterns, which I actually refer to it slightly differently. But for our purposes, this is the anxious and the avoidant pattern in relationships. So when this occurs and we don't actually heal the root cause of it and get back to feeling a sense of oneness within us and feeling a sense of appropriateness to express our own emotions and feelings. What ends up happening over time is that in our relationships, we start to experience frustration and anger at the other side, when in reality, it has been in our hands to actually express our feelings and emotions. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. So why aren't we expressing our feelings and emotions in our relationships? In a relationship? Well, it's the fear of rejection. It's the fear that we will be rejected as we were when we were children. So in this sense, we haven't grown up in our relationship. We've allowed a part of us to stay juvenile instead of growing up because we did not have proper emotional role modeling when we were growing up, where we were taught that it was okay to feel how we felt. It was okay to have the emotions we had. Instead, we had parents who expected us to perhaps adhere to how society interprets emotions, or worse still, we were validated for the actions that we took in our relationships as opposed to our feelings and emotions. So when this happens, our sense of self develops around our actions and not our actual feelings and emotions. So we're not very strong, very developed in the sense of our emotions and feelings and our confidence in our ability to express our emotions and feelings. And this is the core pattern that we may be bringing into a relationship, and the external manifestation of this pattern could be in the form of us trying to control the experiences that our partner is having, us trying to actually control the experiences that we are having by selecting partners who are not going to actually be in our best interest in the long run, and so on and so forth. And then we play the blame game by saying that the other side is unemotional, unavailable, etc. And a whole host of other things, really. So what I want to invite you to do instead is to have a fundamental belief shift that you are responsible for your own emotions and feelings. This is very, very important because you as an adult will likely have many relationships, intimate and otherwise, in this lifetime. And if you keep delegating the responsibility for the relationships, emotions, and feelings to others, you are going to be handing over the control over your experience to another person. So recognize this and bring back the ownership of your emotions and feelings back to yourself. This is not going to be easy initially. I will say that. In my own journey and the journey that many of my clients have undergone, this is probably the most challenging aspect because we can encounter a number of blocks, including our inability to articulate how we feel in a situation, our inability to really understand how we feel, and even express how we feel. So a lot of the work will be around how we communicate our feelings and emotions and how we actually stand up for the feelings and emotions that we are having and have the courageous leap in our relationships to take the risk to expose our feelings and emotions, to express them. And this will be a lot for some of us who have gone into a chronic shutdown in terms of our emotions and feelings, only to bottle it all up within ourselves and to expect other people to mind read us and to somehow magically see what we want in a relationship. The success of a relationship is dependent upon you expressing your needs, wants, and desires clearly and giving the other person a chance to meet your needs, wants, and desires without them having to compromise on what they want, need, and desire. This is the success and challenge in any relationship. And some of us who did not grow up with these relationship role models who taught us this are going to be struggling with these aspects of a relationship. And the first step we must really take is to own our emotions and our feelings, to step into our emotions and feelings. And then from there, we can start to really look deeper to understand why we are having the emotions and feelings, what our unmet needs are, what our wants and desires are, and learn the communication skills to really express them in a way in a relationship that promotes dialogue and communication as opposed to distance and alienation in the relationship. This is what a relationship demands out of us. And what I want to tell you is a lot of us will avoid this level of work in a relationship because it tends to be a lot of work. It tends to be very challenging by nature. And I will also add that avoiding it will not make it go away. It will surface whether it's in your intimate relationship or whether it's in a professional relationship or if it's in a familiar relationship. These issues are going to keep surfacing. The difference is that in an intimate relationship, you're going to be more challenged by nature of being closer to the other person and to your emotional world. And a lot of things are going to hit you more in your core, and you want to, at first, to probably escape out of the accountability of looking at your emotions. And it's really important to keep yourself accountable and track back into why you're having the emotions you are. This is ultimately also the connection to yourself, your sense of self before you decided to wear on masks to cover up your authentic self in order to protect your heart and to protect yourself from being hurt. When you can start to see that these are the masks you've chosen to wear in this lifetime, and that unpeeling the masks is actually the only option, whether that's through intimate relationship or other relationships, we'll start to understand the depth of human connection at the deeper level. What intimacy is truly about is it's not just about having sensual and sexual connection with someone, but when the emotional intimacy can precede the sexual and the sensual connection with somebody, we can truly build a relationship on the foundation of trust, on the foundation of equality, on the foundation of understanding, on the foundation of emotional well-being and intelligence. And this is a relationship that you as an ambitious person, as an ambitious professional, is seeking, because for you, any other relationship is not going to be supportive of your goals in life. You want a relationship that is mature, that in which you can be yourself and express yourself, and at the same time experience intimacy and bonding, deep intimacy and bonding with the others. And that's what taking responsibility for your emotional world is going to give you. Now, this means we have to drop in a lot of the facades that we have learned to wear over the years in order to protect ourselves from the fear of rejection. Fear is an illusion. I want you to see that. Fear is an illusion. It's an illusion that keeps you separated from yourself and separated from having a loving relationship within yourself as well as with another person. And so when you can peel off these layers of illusion, you can start to see the truth of who you really are, your authentic self, which actually doesn't have any of these outer protection mechanisms. That is the journey in this lifetime. So you want a partner who will journey with you potentially along that path. Now, it doesn't matter whether the relationship is going to be a short relationship, whether you want a monogamous relationship or polyamorous relationship, none of that matters. But ultimately, you being true to yourself, your emotions, and having the courage and strength and boldness to face your emotions is what will set your heart free to have the experiences you came here to have in this lifetime. That's the true beauty of you stepping into your emotional world, because it is the gateway to connect with your soul. It is the gateway to realizing love in this lifetime. True, unconditional love. Have a good day.